Welcome back to the Oddity Shop podcast, our little oddballs, the podcast where we tell you creepy, odd, weird, strange, and bizarre stories from around the world. I am your curator, Zach, sitting here with the lovely curator, Kara. Kara, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I got no complaints for the world today, so, we're just going to keep it positive.
Well, good. I'm glad. We're also going to keep it short, right?
And everyone knows what that means when we keep it short. All right, Kara, what do we got?
So today we're joined by Jonathan Robinson, the voice behind Journeys into Past Lives. So Jonathan is a past life regression hypnotherapist. I can never say that word right. Who works with people to access memories through their subconscious using hypnosis. So most of his sessions kind of focus on uncovering patterns or like emotional blocks, experiences that may have tied to past lives, and how those things actually impact who we are now. And we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. So I know Kara just said a bunch of words, right?
Blah, blah, blah.
In your own words, tell us about yourself, a little bit about your journey, how you got started doing all this. And
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, Jonathan, Journeys into Past Lives. I do past life regression hypnotherapy. So for everyone that's new to this, it's a concept in spirituality that's pretty well thought of, and I'll explain kind of the validity as we get going here. But think of past lives, your life as a book. So currently we're in the current chapter of your life. The previous chapters are already written of your past life experiences, similar to reincarnation. And the future pages are blank, where you can fill in with your destiny. And with regression and hypnotherapy, we can regress people back to childhood very easily and relieve traumas and challenges. I found a lot of fears, phobias, and birthmarks that are unexplained come from past lives. And that's the fun part. There's a lot of books on this, Dolores Cannon and Michael Newton. And excited to be here and can share with your audience about what it's all about.
Perfect. I also have gone down the Dolores Cannon rabbit hole so many times. So I'm excited to talk to somebody who's like a pro in that. Because I feel like sometimes I'm like, I'm got what you're saying. And other times I'm like, whoa, I don't understand any of this. So how did you get started in this field? Because from looking up a little bit of your videos in past, it sounds like you were more corporate kind of guy in sales before this, and now you're doing hypnotherapy. So how does that happen?
Yeah, I was working a job just selling computer software, and I really wasn't happy with my life. And so anyone out there in their 20s, like you go to college and you do the things, and every job is a stepping stone. But if you don't feel fulfilled and you don't feel that burning desire inside to have a purpose, try something new. So I started meditating. Apparently I was a monk in my past life because I went into it really easily. I can meditate very deep, very easily. And hypnosis I do almost every day. But I got into it from working at a company called Heal.me, a network of holistic practitioners. And I vibed with the hypnotherapist and the Reiki practitioners. And for me, I'm a skeptic, so I had to do it to believe it. And so after my first Reiki session, I felt so much different. The lady told me things about myself I didn't tell anyone, and it was really good experience. And then after my first hypnosis session, I won a disc golf tournament, which I've never done before. I was the top sales guy in my company, and I got into a relationship, which I was afraid to, express my feelings. So I said, hey, there's got to be something to this.
Yeah.
And I learned hypnotherapy.
That's so awesome.
So that was just after one session, hey?
Yeah, after one session. The beauty of it, it's on a subconscious level. So it can create shifts in your life that, let go of limiting beliefs, fears, things that are holding you back from being your true authentic self.
That's amazing.
That's incredible. Zach's mom's addicted to Reiki. She goes weekly.
She might be going more than once a week at this point, but
I actually think she is. And the one time she thought she was going to miss it because we had a convention to go to, right? And she had to reschedule because she's like, I can't go until I have my Reiki session. We're like, okay, girl, get it.
Yeah, I think all children should learn meditation and Reiki because it's everyone can do it. It's not like, I'm not a psychic, so I don't read people their past lives. I guide them to a deep state of relaxation so they can view their past lives like VR goggles. Like imagine you have VR goggles and you're viewing these experiences in a safe way with a guide, and we're walking through the different moments of significant times of the past lives. And, these sessions go anywhere.
So interesting.
So how did you make the jump then? All right. So now you've had one session, you're top sales guy, you're winning disc golf. And like, when did you go, okay, this is going to be like my life journey now. This is going to be my career.
Yeah, I guess it was a slow buildup. So it starts off like a lot of spiritual practitioners, part-time. So you're just doing it part-time as a hobby. You're skilled and talented and you like helping people, but how do you make it a business? So that's where the sales and business side came in, which a lot of spiritual practitioners miss is we got to have one foot in the spiritual and one foot grounded in the physical, which is all the emails, the marketing side. We don't really like to do that, right? But we have to.
All right.
And so I became a substitute teacher. So I was substitute teaching. I was speaking to audiences of the kids, and the kids were very honest. If I sucked or if I was good, they'll tell you, right?
Oh yeah, brutal.
Yeah. So I'd show them magic. I'd bribe them and say, "Hey, if you guys are good, I'll show you magic at the end of class." And so they'd all love me, and I got experience doing that. And then eventually I built the business up and would build my Instagram up, Journeys into Past Lives on Instagram, where I do daily spiritual posts. And I just like to share different stories, different events, different things that happen in my sessions to help enlighten people and hopefully be a positive shift for people that watch it.
That's awesome. And so it just kind of built naturally from there. A little bit of the past experience helps out for that for sure. Okay, so now you're a practitioner, right? So is there, and I could be wrong, right? But do you do both hypnotherapy and past life regression? Are those two different modalities? Or is there, is it kind of all intertwined?
It's all one. So we use hypnotherapy. It's a guided meditation. Whoever has, if you haven't done it yet, there's a lot of different meditations, but hypnotherapy is basically a guided meditation. So we guide you into a trance-like state called the theta frequency. That's the frequency that all mediums channel in, and we go in and out of it 12 times a day. So it's very natural. People say, oh, it's mind control or whatnot, but it's actually you controlling your mind more because you have the ability to let go of limiting beliefs and kind of reprogram your mind for positive shifts. All children are in theta frequency until age 8, so they can, have imaginary friends. Sometimes they have night terrors, and children sometimes can remember their past lives. There's a Jim Tucker out of the University of Virginia has 2 books. A lot of these children's past life cases are so unique that a kid, they're so innocent, like a 4-year-old's telling their mom, hey, remember when we were Japanese and like you were the mom and I was the dad?
We talk about that all the time.
Kind of like, what is it? The Pollock twins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I posted a story on that. Yep. A video on that.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, yeah, because they came back and had memories of their entire past, and we always talk about that too with kids. Like, it's interesting to hear. Right, we take sometimes more the paranormal approach to things.
Paranormal,
where, the kids see and hear and sense things, and we've always said our working theory, right, as quasi scientists sitting from here, is the closer you are to the veil, it seems the more you experience these things. But it's interesting to pull in the science side of it, the theta, where they're. I guess I've never dove into the science. I'd love to read those books. Yeah,
I guess we more started it's just because kids are innocent, right? They haven't been molded into being a skeptic or you're crazy about if you believe in this or see this. So I feel like also it is kind of the same with that. They're innocent. They're not as corrupted as we are as we get older.
More than my clients, because how is a kid going to know where, the kid keeps having night terrors of crashing in a plane in World War II. Then they ask,
right? How do they know? Yeah,
how do they know that? They can track the family. They can track the platoon number. They answer all these questions. Where does he get this information? Well, the answer is it's his most recent past life. So when I guide people to their past lives, it's the most important one. However, the kids are remembering the most recent one, and I've discovered. If it's a past life trauma and emotional charge, that might carry over in the subconscious somewhere until it gets released. So if you have a fear of drowning,
that makes sense.
Or fear of snakes or fear of heights, perhaps you fell off a roof or drowned or got bit by a snake and died in a past life. Not always, but sometimes. And in these sessions, we can get to the bottom of forever feelings, why you're drawn to certain cultures or eras. who you've been friends. Your spirit group is someone, maybe you met someone in this life and you just vibe with them and you don't even have to talk to them. You just get each other. They could be in your spirit group.
Yeah.
And you incarnate with your spirit group over and over to learn different lessons.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. Do fears and phobias ever connect back in your lives? But you kind of just already answered that. So that's interesting.
It can come from past lives. Yep.
Wow.
So then you're able to do work to help people release the phobias, then it sounds like?
Yeah. So I started off bringing people their past lives in my early days, and they would experience, amazing sessions where they're getting visions and knowings of their past life. Maybe they're a Viking and they're going on a ship and they're doing a raid and then they die in the raid, or
wow,
they're a king and they're trying to do what's good for the community, but then they get betrayed by like a family member, and whatever it may be. There's these really exciting stories that I can share a few, but one session I had early on was, here's a session that you can relate, maybe people can relate to. Of, I had a 500-pound woman come to me. She tried everything to lose the weight, couldn't lose it, was going to get a drastic surgery that would have hurt her.
Yeah.
Instead, she did a past life session with me. And she went to a life in the medieval times as a servant of the king, a priestess. She was this beautiful woman, stunning, really attractive. All the men and women adored her, and she would serve the king. And one day, the bad king poisoned the good king, which happened back then pretty often, actually, to try to overpower.
Oh, yeah.
Because, modern medicine couldn't really prove that he died because of the poison or whatever. And the bad king took over, and he started picking on her a lot to serve him in the king's chambers. That's just what they did back then. She was very attractive. She would get picked a lot. So this would be like torture for her. So she started eating compulsively to avoid getting picked. She would gain weight to not be as attractive. She took a vow.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
And in that lifetime, she took a vow, which came out in the session, that to never be beautiful again. She thought that would protect her from that torture happening.
Oh my God, I want to cry. That's
carried
so
over
sad.
to this lifetime. We were able to release it, so that emotion was trapped somewhere. We found the root cause, right? Not just band-aiding it with diets and stuff, but we found the root cause. We released it from her subconscious, and she was able to lose hundreds of pounds.
That's incredible.
That's incredible. Wow. Oh my gosh.
That story back to something you said earlier, right? Where you said that we're usually remembering our most recent past life. So in this situation, is that medieval time still her most recent past life, you think? Or
I think that was just for kids. Did you say that?
Yeah. So kids, if they have night terrors, a lot of times it is their most recent one they're remembering.
Okay.
Okay.
This lady was hundreds of years ago, so she's probably had a few more. Sometimes that trauma can carry over for multiple lifetimes. That's why it's a good idea to do these sessions, because you can help release it, get to the root cause. And maybe in the most recent lifetime, it was just a normal death at old age or whatever. But, I've had someone who, I had someone who was a fear of water they don't like swimming. And they always liked the country Greece, the Croatia islands, for some reason. Well, they went there on vacation once, and they felt like home. Well, in a past life session, they went to the same island, actually. But they told me, It's not my vacation. I made sure it wasn't just a memory from this life. There was no electricity. There was candles, and they would do rituals like with the spiritual church there. And one day, their dad was going to marry them off to someone that they didn't want to get married to, so they tried to escape on the boat, and this wooden boat ended up sinking, and the water came in and they drowned. And that was the root cause of why they were scared of drowning.
Yeah. Wow.
What are your steps then as the practitioner, right? You've discovered the root of it. How do you help people release that?
Hey, Zach, are you running low on spiritual supplies?
Hey, Kara, are you looking for a place with handmade items?
Yeah, we should probably go to Mystic Moons.
Oh, our buddies?
Yeah.
They make the most wonderful hand-dipped incense with over 24 scents, and we've smelled absolutely every single one of them.
Yeah, or maybe you might just be looking for a hand-strung bracelet made with only the best intentions.
And not only do they have the best intentions, they have 4 strings each, and they last forever, which I would know because I've broken every bracelet you've made for me and not theirs.
Oops. Well, they also have simmer pots for every occasion, like San to Yule.
And don't forget, Melinda is also a medium and a tarot card reader who's given us amazing readings. So she's ready to help us or you connect with past loved ones and get to know insights into your world.
My spirit animal is a camel. Thanks, Melinda. Anyway, so look for Mystic Moons on Facebook or Etsy, and then you can restock all your spiritual supplies.
Oh, be sure to check them out at www.etsy.com/shop/Mystic Moons LLC.
Or at Mystic Moons on Facebook. They're all over our socials, so I'm sure you'll find them.
So go get some goodies. Okay, Kara, goodbye.
Bye. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's works really, really well under hypnosis. So we have a physical body, we have an energy body, we have an emotions, we're energetic, with the Reiki, we have energy centers, and the subconscious sometimes keeps things. So it tries to protect us from getting hurt again. Like as a kid, if we touch a hot stove, we know we will automatically just peep our hand away. I had this one lady, she was getting body work done, and they pressed into her calf, and she got a flashback of a scene when she was 7 years old. She came home from school early, saw her dad kissing another woman on the porch, and she pivoted on her calf and sprinted away. And that emotion and memory got trapped in her calf. So,
oh wow,
this can happen in childhood because children are in theta frequency. So that's why a lot of adults walk around with childhood trauma. I help release that. So we do a few sessions, one for this life, and then we go to the past lives and, 3 sessions or something. It's not like talk therapy. It doesn't take years, but just a few sessions. So I have them go to the scene, feel the emotion, and they tell me where it is in the body. They always know. They always tell me, oh, the heart, the stomach, the throat. Maybe they were hung for speaking their voice. Well, that might be in their throat, for example. I say, all right, give it a color or texture. What does it look like? And they always know what it looks like. They tell me, oh, it's spiky and dark. And I say, all right, what I want you to do is with each breath, release that spiky dark emotion from the throat, put it into a ball in front of you. And now imagine that ball spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's transforming into something different. What does it look like now? And then they tell me it's changed. It's different. And then I say, all right, release that. And so they release it. Then I do a monologue of beliefs and hypnotic language to help further instill the change. And typically after that, it's gone.
It's so crazy because that change happens on the unconscious level so quick.
Yeah. David Schneider is a good NLP practitioner who does this technique. Some therapists do it as well, but it works even better. So we're consciously discussing, and it sounds like, oh, that wouldn't work on me. But under hypnosis or in a deep trance, you can actually feel that emotion. You feel it, you sense it. It's a shape, a color, because the subconscious doesn't speak in rational language. It speaks in colors and emotions, right? So once we tell it on a deep level that we can free it from that, then they're finally free.
I'm kind of like you. I was a big skeptic around that sort of unconscious work until I met somebody who is an NLP practitioner, and we did a very long session, and it was one of the most intense days of my life. I actually went and got basic practitioner certified after that. And it's the language of the unconscious brain is so interesting. And it happened so fast. And I think if more people understood that, man, they could have just life-changing moments.
Yep. And that's what I teach. So I'm doing a course. Anyone wants to learn this, next month, I'm teaching people to be a certified hypnotherapist with past life regression and releasement as a core value in the group. So if anyone wants to learn what I do, you can learn from me with a group of peers.
That's awesome.
And it's not just like a book or a video that you watch. You learn hands-on, and you get real life experience with practicing on people and volunteers. So it's something everyone can do. And I'm just amazed my clients can go into these vivid memories and I have clients from all over the world, 40 different countries, because I'm mostly online. And so this work can be done online with people from anywhere. That's the beauty of today's technology.
Yeah.
Most of my clients are pretty spiritual. So they do have some, they read the books, maybe they meditate, they've done Reiki before. So they have some type of inkling. But I've done this with people. When I was first starting, I tried it with my friends, and I just told them it was a spiritual session, and I don't even use the word past life in the session, and they would all go into their past lives, or 8 out of 10 of them would, and I was like, man, there's something to this. This isn't just made up. How does the mind remember what happened before it was born? Because think of a camera, you take pictures, it can only take pictures after that camera was created. Well, imagine like a 5D SIM card is in that camera that can remember prior to it. And it's like our mind is the pineal gland. And when it's activated, it connects to the internet, like our mind's a computer.
Yeah.
Receive our soul's history from the Akashic records.
It's so fascinating. It really is. Because you kind of said that you were a skeptic, and Zach was just talking about it. Because I feel at one point we've all been a skeptic to all this crazy stuff, right? Until we've experienced it. But I guess, what do you say to people who think that this is just like your brain just making up things? Like it's just an imagination. Like how do you discern that from just somebody making stuff up?
First of all, most of my clients are from the US, so they're Christian or whatever, but actually half the world believes in reincarnation currently.
Oh, yeah.
Right now. Hinduism, Buddhism, they all have that deep, they learned it from kids. But that doesn't matter what matters most isn't whether it's real or imaginary or a dream or a memory. What matters is they get the healing from the session. So when we dream, everyone dreams at night, right? But we don't discuss, our dreams that often. Sometimes it is just metaphors that come through that help them understand deep traumas. But a lot of times, 80% of the time, I think it is actually past life memories that are coming back to them, because I had someone the other day that was a horse breeder in their past life. Then they tell me after the session, oh, I always used to draw horses when I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And so these deep connections that are so unique, I would have to specific to the person, so that you get these deep connections. Birthmarks. I had someone with a birthmark on their thigh. They didn't know why, but they were scared of going in the woods alone. But they like, nature. And in a past life, they were hiking in the woods alone in the mountains. They fell down the cliff at nighttime, and they got impaled by a stick in their right thigh, right where the birthmark was. When they pulled the stick out, so if you get impaled, don't pull it out because it'll bleed out. They died. Yeah. And so that solved their problem with the birthmark, the being fear of the woods alone at night. So it's case by case is what I would say. It's very specific to the individual. But after thousands of these cases that all kind of line up, maybe one or two is, made up. Maybe they couldn't go into it. But it's hundreds of thousands of people have done this at this point. It's very well known in the spiritual community as kind of fact. And
for sure,
I can go into the validity a little bit about it if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have the past life. I'll count off with a man. So we have past life books and past life just in general by people all over the world. Children's past lives. So that's more innocent. How do these children remember their past incarnations? There's 2 books that Jim Tucker has, and thousands of cases of children's past lives. Astrology has the South Node. The South Node is all past incarnations. It's very well known in astrology. The North Node is future. The South Node is past. Body code has before this incarnation as well. Psychedelic experiences and shamans deeply know that past lives are there, because about 30% of the ayahuasca ceremonies, this one shaman was telling me, past life stuff gets brought up. They see their past life stuff. Then they come to me after to clear it, because sometimes they don't have those techniques. Psychics and mediums often refer to this as fact as well. And one thing you guys, I think, are really into is near-death experiences, right? NDEs.
Oh, absolutely.
They're dead, but they're consciously aware of like what's happening. And all of these combined, not just one, but all of these combined add validity to what happens in the spirit world.
We talk about this a lot with all kinds of stuff, but it's always incredible when you look into it and the bigger level, like there's so many different cultures and religions and all of this that ties into it or believes it. Maybe they call it something different or practice it a different way, but it's hard to deny so many of the things that like we talk about on our podcast, because there's so many different cultures of people and all around the world that somehow have these same experiences. So it to me, it's like, I believe it, but
Yeah, because the alternative is just hundreds of thousands of people are having similar
manic delusions.
They're all just lying to me. They pay me hundreds of dollars for a session. And it's just some big, it's conspiracy to trick me. And so if you don't believe it, do a session. So book a session and everyone can do this.
There you go.
Is there anyone that you like wouldn't recommend doing this? Like, is there ever a case where you're like, yeah, I don't know if you should do this?
So I've heard if you're bipolar or schizophrenic, sometimes it's not safe.
A good idea. Okay.
They already have a lot of personalities. So you don't want to bring them into more. However, I've done sessions with a bipolar person and he was actually remembering his past lives. So that's why he was had multiple personalities, is because his past life is coming through.
Ooh, I just got goosebumps. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Oh, so you're a little bit psychic, Kara.
I am.
It's a problem.
It is a problem. Wow. That's because I was wondering that, like, if there's anyone that maybe shouldn't do it for whatever reason, but I never would have thought about it that way.
Safety is a big deal. And I'm all for psychedelic, because psychedelics have taught me so much about the nature of this existence beyond the veil that I'm very for it, as long as it's done responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
So this type of session is altered state of consciousness. It's the theta frequency. It's just like a meditation, everyone, but it's a different frequency we go into. It's very safe. It's very natural. And you cannot, some people ask, can I get stuck? You would be the first person ever to get stuck. Like, you can't get stuck daydreaming or sleeping or, meditating.
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
So all the movies on hypnosis are all negative. That's why people fear it. It's because of Hollywood. They're thrillers or horror films of people doing weird things, and it's I want to make it more mainstream.
No, that's so true.
All of a sudden, Shallow Hal just pops right into my head.
Yeah, it's always something negative, but I do it every day as a meditation, because it's easier than meditation, because there's a voice guiding you to that theta, that relaxing state, and then from there you can pick your program, like the Matrix. You can pick not jujitsu, but you could pick confidence, or you can pick confidence. You can pick positivity. You can let go of fear. You can go into, pick whatever you want to do the therapy on, and the hypnotist will guide you through that.
That's cool.
We talked then who it's not for, right? Who is your ideal client? Like, we've talked fear and releasing that. Who all would benefit from it?
Yeah, a lot of my clients have some type of spiritual background, and that means a lot of times they have some type of trauma. So whether that's from childhood or relationships or years ago, and a lot of us practitioners have gone through disease or hurt, pain. Western medicine failed us. I know I went to the doctor for back pain and they told me to get surgery and take pills. And I fired them immediately, and I hired a yoga therapist, a strength trainer, and I healed on my own. So almost everyone has a spiritual journey or healing journey, and we're all on a healing journey, really. And so people that have had, stuff happen, but they think there's still something there that is holding on. And so what I would do is a few sessions. I would do 3 sessions. One is a custom session to work on anything. Another one would be regressing to this life to clear that first, then the past life. Because if we don't clear the stuff from this life, that's priority number 1. I just did a session with a lady from Ireland, and she had a accent, but she also had a speech impediment. So it was even more difficult to understand her. And we tried to do the past life session, but she went to this life when she was 4 years old. Her parents were yelling at each other. They got divorced that day. Well, she went in between them and yelled at the top of her lungs to stop.
Okay.
She was so scared and traumatized from all the commotion that her throat chakra got blocked, causing that speech impediment. We were able to clear that in the session. So now she doesn't have that anymore. And that's common with other hypnotists.
That is so wild.
See, I think that's amazing. And there's not enough mainstream people talking about how much of that is unconscious brain. I think the thing that wiped any skepticism for me was when I went through the NLP training. I watched in 15 minutes them release PTSD hallucinations from a veteran who had been dealing with these for years, right? And had gone to as many doctors and talk therapists as you could. And in a 15-minute session in front of 200 people, gone. And it's somebody I'm still in contact with today. And they confirmed like they're gone, it's amazing.
It is really incredible.
Yeah, I love that. That's like Tony Robbins type stories. That's amazing. And the reason he was able to do that is because, well, one, in hypnosis and in NLP, the pre-talk is the most important part. It's gaining rapport, getting trust, and then the client is able to allow you to accept the suggestions that. So the NLP and hypnosis, basically, hypnosis is meditation plus NLP, if you want to think about it like that.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Love that story. Thanks for sharing that. That's so cool. Yeah.
It was one of the most incredible, oh my God. It was just, we had done practices through class where you get rid of, addiction to a food you like or whatever. But it was like this last culminating experience that was just mind blowing. But with that, do you have any standout client stories or anything that you're just always blown away when you think back to it?
Yeah. So I'll tell you one about this performer from California. This 20-something-year-old girl came to me, and she was having stage fright, hesitancy when she performed. She was a really good performer, very talented, but didn't know why. Plus, she was afraid of elevators and closed spaces. She would text her mom before she would imagine having to text your mom anytime you went on an elevator, and bringing snacks just in case you got stuck. Well, that was her limit.
Okay.
So, and she also hated Egypt. She saw an astrocartographer said, Egypt, something bad will happen, or it has happened there in the past.
Okay.
And so I typically allow the higher self to guide us to whatever past lives are relevant. I don't lead my clients on. I don't say, go to a life as this or that. That's not in there. I just say, go to what's important. And so she went to 2 past lives. One was on a farm and one was in the indigenous tribe. But I wanted to get to the root cause of that Egypt thing. And so did she. So I guided her to Egypt. She was a priestess in that past life. She was very beautiful. She had priestess friends. She would do rituals. She would sing a lot. She said she would sing and use her voice, the harmonics of it, help people get into, just like a spiritual singing church in Egypt. And she would put Reiki energy into crystals, and she would wrap the crystals in leaves so the energy would hold in the crystal because if you touch it, it would get transferred to that person. So she told me all about that. And she would do rituals with the priestess every month on the full moon. She would do a ritual. Priestesses didn't interact with men. That's right. They didn't marry and have families. But on the full moon, she would smoke Blue Lotus. It's a psychedelic, and have tantric experiences with her priestess friends. So they would get into that
great.
altar. It was something. So all right, move on. So we went to we went to another important moment. I typically say, go to an important day, go to a life-changing day, go to a challenging day. So she went to a day where the Pharaoh was extremely angry with everybody, and he was yelling at her, and she said, you can't do that to us. I'm not going to allow this. She put her foot down and spoke up and stood up for everybody. And that was, it didn't end up working out well for her. The Pharaoh sentenced her to the dungeon. So he punished her for using her throat, her voice.
Yep.
So she was sentenced to the dungeon where she was shivering. She said it was cold and musty down there. And then the guards locked her in a room at 6x6 cellar room, dark and musty, where she starved to death.
Yeah. So it's definitely like a elevator.
Yeah. I answered all of her questions. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And afterward, she's on my YouTube. I post some of the sessions on there, but her voice is way different. It's more confident.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can you imagine if we do this, Zach, we're going to be like, I don't even know. I don't know.
Oh, this poor guy. He probably does not want to deal with our traumas that we're holding on. God.
I do this with psychics a lot, and they love it. I love it too, because psychics like you, Kara, can go into it very easily. And, one time I did a session with a psychic who's been doing it for 40 years. This was years ago. So I was thinking, why can't this psychic do this on his own? Right. Because, but as people, we can't facilitate our own healing sometimes because there's emotions and we're biased and we don't know this. And if things get emotional, we can't, lead ourselves to the light. So that changed my perspective a lot on who is this for. So I do trades with people all the time. So this psychic went into these very vivid past lives because he's psychic. So he's already like used to that scenario, right? So he went into a past life in like Germany in 1930 or something during the war, almost like toward the war, right?
Yeah, that's an intense time.
And he was led to this back room of this fancy establishment where they danced in like a club, and some trickster people showed him some magic books. And he really liked them. So he started investigating and reading all these books on like etherical magic and black magic. And he started a bookstore with his magic books, which were real, magic, witchcraft, basically.
Yeah.
And he had a lover. So he's gay in this lifetime and he's gay in that lifetime too. And he loved this man tremendously. But one day his lover showed up to the bookstore in a uniform and burned down his bookstore and took his life, betrayed him brutally. He made a vow to never love again because love can only hurt me. That love hurt him so badly that he's been walking through this life with a broken heart, perpetually single. And he said he felt more free than ever after that. And he's reported, being more loving to himself. One, that's step one, loving ourselves.
Very important,
yeah, we can attract others.
Wow. See, I don't know. I think I might. Zach meditates all the time. I think he'd be really easy. I'm like a stubborn person. So I don't know if I would be good. Like, I don't know if I could easily get into it. I'd want to, but
you got to give it a shot.
I know. What was, when we went to the last convention, Zach, what was that reading that I did? Do you remember what that was called? Oh God, I can't. Because it wasn't past life regression, but it brought up some past
Akashic Records reading.
Maybe. Was it that?
Possibly. I don't remember because I did not go over there with you.
It was wild because it was like it went back into like when I was a little girl, or in another life, like getting hurt. And it brought up like all these like medical things that I'm going through like right now or at that time I was going through in this. It was wild, but I can't remember what that was called.
Yeah, I can't remember. I know I have the card sitting in my stack of convention cards somewhere.
I was trying to look up. I have my notes, but it doesn't say what it was called. But yeah, no, that stuff is so fascinating to me.
And that's common. The patterns and cycles of troubles in past lives come up. They can repeat in this life, just like patterns repeat in this life. If you don't stand up for yourself, the universe will keep putting people in your way that'll, step on you until you, tell them how to treat you. And
kind of a common theme of what you've been bringing up that is sticking with me is like those lifetime vows, those things where you say, I'll never do this again, X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
You don't think about that beyond usually just the moment you say it, right? Because you're going through something and it's like, okay, I don't ever want to do it again. But it has ramifications past just the current life you're in. And that's wild to think that you could be affecting so many other lives by imposing that restriction.
Yeah, it's like scary when you think about it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just like what we talk about, and I don't know how you feel about this, but like witchcraft, and like there is magic, if you will, in the words that you say, right? So like, yeah, if you look in the mirror every day and you're like, I'm an ugly piece of shit, you're going to be an ugly piece of shit because you're telling yourself that every day. If you're like, hey, just like those affirmations every morning, like I'm great, I'm strong, whatever, like I can do this, I'm powerful. That is, you're putting that into your subconscious, into you. Like there's just so much that all intertwines.
Yeah. Eventually you'll start to believe it.
Right.
People can be mean to you and you can tell them no and stuff. But as a kid, they're in theta. So it goes right into them. That's why kids, don't have a shield up yet. But yeah, eventually you're going to be vulnerable and be like, maybe she's right. Maybe I am. And that carries, weight.
What I would have never thought of is, like you said earlier, to have kids do this. And when you keep bringing it up, like how kids are affected, like I would have never thought to have kids do this type of stuff now. Like, and we're fully into, if you have kids though, like lean into their abilities, or like if they're seeing things, like really lean into it and like help them get through it. But this is not something I would have thought about for kids, which is just.
Yeah. Kids go into hypnosis really easy. They just, they're already kind of in it. And I don't do it with children that much. It's not like my priority, but I have done it before. I always require the parents in the room if they're under 16, and
for sure
they'll go right into it. And I had this one lady, she did a past life session with me, and then she she thought she was amazed, so she had her kid do it, and her kid had like a ghost in her room. She would say, "This ghost is in my room, and I'm kind of scared of it. I don't know what it is." She was like 12, and we did a past life session, and she went to a past life in France, and she had like a best friend that would follow her all, like a twin sister kind of, that would follow her all around. And that best friend, what happened one day, I forget what happened in the past life, but anyway, that best friend incarnated in this life, but she died when she was really young, and she wanted to be there for her, and the only place she felt welcomed or comfortable was in her room. So that imaginary friend was a ghost of her past life, like spirit friend. Afterwards, she was like, she wasn't scared anymore, is what the...
Oh, see, I have full body chills again. I love that story. That is cool.
So with that, right, because I think one of our biggest things of growth over the years of doing this podcast, right, we thought, ghosts were always like, past ones who are hanging around, and, our idea of what creates a lot of the paranormal has changed. So the work that you've been doing, right, do you still believe in ghosts and haunted houses, or is it more, what you're saying, these incarnated spirits who are kind of hanging around? Like, what are your thoughts on the more ethereal world?
Yeah, I've done some ghost clearings, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my interpretation of a ghost is a human soul, a spirit who dies suddenly, whether they're murdered or they die suddenly. Then they're confused. They don't know what happened. Maybe they're emotional. They have a grudge. So imagine if you jump in cold water, you're going to be like, whoa, what's happening? Mm-hmm. That's weird. So they don't know why they died. They weren't sure. They didn't plan on that. And especially if they were murdered, they feel like it's unfair. So they'll haunt the place. And so we have free will. They don't have to go up to the light or the spirit world to be healed. They can stick around, and since they have free will. And so with ghost clearings, you kind of talk to them with Reiki energy, and you let them know, hey, it's probably for your best interest to go up, but you don't have to. It's your decision. Yeah. And a lot of times you can have them, talk some sense into them, and then they leave. So my cousin was she was in an apartment, and she kept on having nightmares of this girl who was in there. Mm-hmm. And she looked it up, and someone died in the apartment suddenly 6 months before she moved in. And get this, all states in America, you have to tell someone if someone dies in the house up to 5 years back. Most states it's 5 years. Some it's 2. Why would they have that as a law unless there's something to ghosts?
Well, for sure. Yeah. And it's like what you kind of said, like, there's so much to the paranormal, and there's so many different types of like hauntings where, it's like you were saying, like if it's a sudden death and like unfinished business or a grudge, things like that. But like Zach and I, like with all our research and going to haunted locations and just talking to different people, there's just so much unknown, right? So it's like, sometimes it's just a residual haunting where it could just be the energy is just kind of stuck there. Like it's just the same thing happens every day at the exact same time. Or it's just energy built up. It's just like, there's so much different things, but now we've kind of gotten into the thing that we're like, I think everything's more interdimensional, or, like different planes. Like, I don't know, but it's somehow everything we talk about or dive into somehow fits.
It relates to each other. So actually going off that, Kara, with the, maybe in the multidimensional realm, Jonathan, I have to ask, so in your thoughts, right, how does the reincarnation work? Is it like you leave this life and you're right into your next? Is there a time where you think like your spirit is hanging out in some more ethereal realm? Like what are your thoughts on?
Yeah. So what happens in between lives, right? So in between incarnations. So from my experience, I'll kind of list the major milestones of what I've experienced from books and my sessions. But so on the death scene, we drop our body, we die, and it's not the end. So don't have to fear death. It's a transition. So our soul looks like we're above our body. Sometimes we can see ourselves on the ground or wherever we are. And we're greeted by our spirit guide. We have a spirit guide that's assigned to us that is always with us and helps us. So always ask. They always tell me you have to ask or they can't interfere. So not everyone asks for help. And so we should ask more and more to, for guidance. And so we drop our body, we float up, and we see our spirit guide is there. as well as sometimes our close relative, like an uncle we really liked or a grandfather. And then we are able to go back up to the light. It's not always up. It's not more of a realm, not a physical location. And so we go to a place of healing first to heal from earth trauma, because we acquire a lot of challenges on this planet. It's a tough school that we chose to be in.
Sure is.
We go to that. We do a life audit, so we can audit our life to see what we did good, what we did bad.
Oh, that just creates anxiety.
The good news is there's no council. I've yet to find a hell, so no one's ever gone there in my sessions. I'm open to it, but sorry.
We might be in luck, Kara.
Yeah.
So there's no panel that judges you, but you are your own biggest critic. So sometimes that's different, and that's you. Maybe you were mean to someone in second grade, and you would see how they felt from their shoes, so you'd feel that. And the life audit happens, and we go to the spirit realm where we meet our spirit group, a group of about 20 like vibrating souls that chooses to incarnate with each other. So we can kind of have spirit intimacy with one another.
Yeah.
It feels really good. The whole thing feels really loving. So, NDEs, they feel like so much love. They're more connected than they are on Earth, right? So it's very, very pleasant. And so with our spirit group, we can view the Akashic records or wisdom to find out more what wisdom about the universe, and the Akashic records to kind of plan our next incarnation. So there's like a council that helps us choose what bodies to incarnate into, which would help us progress our evolution the best. Now, you would think bodies would line up for celebrities or kings and attractive people. However, that's opposite. It's not the truth. That's more newer souls might do that. A lot of times souls line up for disabled bodies or bodies with challenging lives. So if you have a challenging life, everyone out there listening, you might be a high level soul that chose to overcome these challenges and play this Earth School game on hard mode. And you are amazing for overcoming those challenges and keeping your light.
I love that.
I like thinking of it that way.
Our next body, we can choose to be a violinist in San Francisco, or a surfer in Hawaii, or a guitarist in Iowa. And so which one would be the best for us, to complete our contract? So imagine a series on TV has the individual plot in the episode. So the individual life may have a mission, but the overall series has a goal of something in the series. But in this life, it'd be like raise the consciousness of the earth, to evolve, to rid ourselves of karma, and to, go into enlightenment would be the ultimate goal. And so we repeat that over and over and over. And I know, so on Earth, there's humans, and there's a book called The Raw Law of One, RA Law of One. And it's a channeled series from the 70s. And they say that once your soul has reached a certain level, like of enlightenment or love or true authenticity, you won't need to incarnate here anymore. So you can go off and do other things.
Oh.
I'm going to need you to send us like a email with all these books you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Wow. It's just so cool. Okay, so what was one of your past lives?
You took that question right from my brain.
Or what's your favorite one?
Yeah, the first one I can think of is I was an Indian woman. I was a well-off Indian woman, and my uncle in this life was my father in that life. And my father was very rich. He had a lot of money. And I was the younger sister, and my brother was older than me. And in this life, I'm the older brother, and my sister's younger. And but in that life, she would get all the credit because she was a man in the world back then that gets, there's certain things back then. And I was kind of like petty about that. I wanted more of the credit because I knew I was valuable, but no one saw it, I guess. And my sister and I have that relationship dynamic now, or we used to, bicker or whatever.
Yeah.
And my uncle is actually pretty well off in this life too. So that pattern's carried over. And in that lifetime, I fell off a roof. I died when I fell off a roof. And I almost fell off 2 ladders in this lifetime, actually. So that almost repeated.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Anytime I think of being near a ledge, I get chill. Like my heart starts beating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, we can be male and female. I'm not the only one, guys. We can be male and female, rich and poor.
Oh, yeah.
So if everyone realized that, we would be I think people are more or less discriminatory than prior, years, and we're getting so much better and better. But I think everyone would be like more understanding to people that are different, because we're souls in a body, not our physical differences.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. The lesson in that, as we wrap up the conversation here, is such an important thing to take away, because we all just need to be a little bit nicer to each other, because God, it's a fun world we're living in right now. It's a rough one. And if we realize we're all just souls trying to figure it out, you don't know what the other person's been through that gets on the train that's depressed, and their mom might have just died. And then you're mad at them for not like looking you in the eye or saying hello. And it's like, we don't know what people have been through. So be nice, be kind. You don't know what people's stories.
Oh, wow.
This was
fun. We could go on forever.
I have so many more questions.
I know.
But I know you have your regular life to get back to, right? So, Jonathan, for anybody out there who's listening, how do they find you if they want to book a session, learn more, maybe do the class you're doing?
Yeah, Journeys into Past Lives is my website, Journeys into Past Lives on Instagram and YouTube. I have an app coming out called Journeys into the Subconscious that will be out next month, and that'll have my sessions and journeys and custom sessions on there. You can type in anything. But I'm really excited about my course, because we need more healers. If you are a practitioner already doing hypnosis or NLP or life coaching, you can add hypnosis to your list. It only takes a few months to learn and get certified, and you can be doing past life regressions with people and helping people at a deep level. I have some people that have multiple modalities, and now they're doing like a 6-session package, 2 astrology, 2 life coaching, and 2 hypnosis. And the hypnosis helps instill what they did in the other sessions. So reach out to me. I'm doing webinars for the next few weeks on Wednesday at 9 p.m. I go live and I do webinars on Wednesday at 9 p.m. on my Journeys into Past Lives. So
we're going to have to join that.
Reach out. I do sessions with people from all over the world. I do them online, and they work just as good as in person. So I'm just honored to meet people from all over and guide them through this experience.
Yeah, we're going to have to schedule our sessions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate you taking the time, man. Everyone listening, down in the show notes below will be the links for his website and social media, all that good stuff. But yeah, no, thanks, man. Any last parting words you want to leave?
So awesome.
When I went camping, I learned to leave the campground nicer than I found it. And that's what I feel like we're doing on Earth. We're just camping here for a short stay. So leave it nicer, create a positive shift. People don't remember what you said, but they remember how you made them feel. So be that change. Watch the other episodes. There's a ton more episodes that they have a lot of spiritual, amazing content. So check those out. Thanks for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Oh, what were you going to say? Sorry, Zach.
I was saying, Kara, what do we got to do? You're on it.
Yeah, I'm just like so in awe. I can't even like think. But the most important thing that you can do for us is to creep it real, you little oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.